it works with repairs. Our folks are already not personal, depending on the way that we would connect to some specific body energy points. We would be in tune with some collective folks which are running, and those folks are made of different columns, psychological repairs that which are used as anchoring in order to let these tool, the mind, this mechanism, be useful and help us to survive, help this physical body to survive. Then many unexpected events could happen. It would be a surprise. Of course, the unexpected is the only certainty. And their surprises, it could be many things. You could be assaulted. It could be an accident. It could be a betrayal. Someone that you thought was loving you suddenly is betraying you and go towards someone else. Or you're on a quiet day and there's a car accident. Or you get fired from your job, which is a repair for your survival. So many things can happen. Or sometimes it could be something quite ordinary that could happen, which is still rebouncing throughout your memory and putting surface some ancient traumas, surprises, and accidents. When those columns, those repairs are blown away by the surprises, those accidents, those events which are occurring and which weren't expected at all, there would be a gap, somehow a void, a breach in this subtle mechanism, sophisticated and yet fragile and vulnerable, which is your mind. And this will create a feeling of panic, a threat. This mechanism would turn on the alarm. His physical body is in danger, or allegedly in danger. And as soon as the structures of this mind wouldn't have been united again, and that this missing column, this repair, would have been replaced by another one, this feeling of threat will pervade, endure, and last. And you will leave with this excruciating, uncomfortable, horrible feeling of anxiety. Sometimes it could last for years, and sometimes it lasts forever. So there's many ways to heal those traumas. One way is to understand what is the subconscious mind. When a trauma occurs, a flow of information suddenly rise and is perceived not any longer by your conscious mind, but by your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind never sleeps. It perceives all the informations 24 hours. It takes everything literally, and it doesn't work with words. It works with symbols. So, one path to heal this trauma could be to discover this realm, this territory, which is the subconscious mind, and opening the doors of what is called the animus. What we call the shadow work is all about that, entering into the shadow zone. Whatever is carved in the subconscious mind is a matter of trauma. Otherwise, it will be acknowledged by the conscious mind. And this whole work is all about that. Discovering what is lurking in this shadow zone. And we have necessarily a lot of surprises as far as it would be filled by informations that we couldn't normally stand, that we couldn't normally bear. This shadow zone has to be tamed. Some instrument could be used in order to discover the shadow zone. This instrument could be shamanic. The purpose of shamanism is all about that. Opening the doors of the animus and let the unconscious mind melt with the conscious mind. This work of shamanism is about understanding that this mind, which could be called as well the subtle body, is composed by different stage of frequencies, which are the 5 elementals, the 5 frequency of the universe, the 5 elements. By discovering the powers of the earth, we discover our understanding and needs for security. And it leads us, when we could experience on a deeper level this power, the ability to protect others. The frequency of the water is linked with our sexuality. It's all about understanding our desires. But ultimately, when this frequency is understood and developed, it's all about learning how to be authentic, how to be real, and to develop our ability to be an empath. And it would go through all these series of traumas, all those memories. It would be shoot, digest, and transcend it. Same with the wind, same with the fire, and the metal as well. That's the power of shamanism. And there's several shamanic tools, and eventually those tools could be combined, and those elements could be combined as well, simultaneously, rather in order to heal others or yourself, or in order to attract, manifest. Then, this understanding of the subtle body is intricated, of course, with the understanding as well of our physical body. But the idea is that in order to master a previous stage, you have to move up on the upper floor. I mean, in order to master the power of your physical body, you would have to position yourself in your mind, in your mental, and from this point, you could influence the power and the limits of your physical body. And in the same way, if you position yourself on the upper floor, beyond the mind, in a state of silence, which is out of the mind, beyond the mind, you could observe this mechanism one step back, not by being merged and drawn into this storm and hurricane, which is this flow of thoughts, but from the point of view of the silence. And you could observe this vehicle, which is your mind, and recognize the breaches. Okay, the trauma is here. I know that I did endure this event, which has been painful. It was an accident. And here I see that this column is missing. And then I have phobia of something because of this accident. And I can observe it. And by observing that, you de-energize this element of fear, of anxiety, and it will be de-energized because it will become conscious. Get to understand, quasi, that the reason of the anxiety due to the trauma is because the feeling and the emotion is not conscious. It is lurked in the subconscious mind, in the shadow, and it has to be put in light. Manifesting is accepting whatever is. If you want to manifest on a supernatural way and be the witness of spectacular events, incredible things happening around you, it's all about acceptance, and therefore it's all about positioning yourself as a witness. The problem is not, in a matter of fact, how to manifest, how to provoke supernatural things, because incredible and supernatural things would happen spontaneously. That's the nature of the universe, to be unpredictable, and the universe is not deterministic. Scientists, physicists, modern quantum physicists are acknowledging that the consequences of what will happen don't have any cause. It could not be determined, and there's no way to scientifically predict it. There is an influence which is not due to the dance of the particles, of the elements. This influence come directly from emptiness by itself. Physicists have recognized that emptiness is carrying more energy and therefore more informations than matter, and nothingness has a stronger influence upon events than matter itself. From this slide, we understand that it's not about how to provoke things, but how to stop impinging things to happen. They are supposed to happen, whatever it could be spectacular, but there's an impingement. And the impingement is the mental. All this work in shamanism is all about being in harmony with the frequencies, the elements, the frequencies of our body are correlated with the frequency of the nature, of other beings, animals. And this work of this shamanic work is all about being in tune with those frequencies. But there is this problem. We have this tool in our hands, the echo, which is the mental. And get to understand, the mental and the subtle body are the same thing. The shaman would use the subtle body on a non-conditioned way. He would be in tune with his environment and with nature, because he would not judge. He would not take what is manifested personally, but he will take it collectively, or even better, universally. Problem is that the common man is using this mental on a conditioned way, which was false. And the peculiarity of mental, as far as his duty is to protect the physical body, is to reduce the risk. And then, by definition, whatever happened, the mental will say, no, I don't want. No, it's dangerous. No, I don't want to do it, try it. I don't want to listen. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to let it go. That's a problem. And then, what's happening? Nothing happening. The duty of this mental, and it's not its fault, it's just a tool. It's to keep you in security, to keep you alive. But you don't try to explore unknown territories, it's dangerous. Stay here, stay home. So in order to foster, favor, manifestation, we have to decondition this mental. And what is the only way to decondition this mental? Is to go one step back from it and not identifying yourself with it. In the same way that baby would play with his rattle, the mother wouldn't watch for a toy, the mother would watch for baby. And as a mother, and mother here is your silence, you will watch your folks, how it reacts. The shaman would not focus himself on events, what's happening. He will focus on how these folks, how this mental, this mind is reacting to this event. By calming down the mental as we would secure an angry horse. What happened could happen. Sometimes it's agreeable for the body, or sometimes it may be disagreeable. And yet it could still be interesting. But what happened would be perceived without any judgment. And in this way, what could happen, what could be done, however it could appear as spectacular, wouldn't be perceived with judgment. Let's say, Diana, that you need $1 million to buy a big house for all your family. An example. And you want to manifest it. Already, if you have, you're nourishing some greed or even some pleasure, the idea that you would be the owner of $1 million and you will be the owner of a house. And in this way, it's your mental, your mind, which would perceive this heaven as an element of manifestation. There would be a judgment. It would be conditioned. And as far as it would be conditioned, there would be conditions. I want $1 million, yes, but in order to manifest, you have to reduce yourself to something infinitely small, smaller than a particle, and emit a wish, which is an intention or a prayer, which is a vibratory phenomenon which is infinitely small. And interestingly enough, vibration which is infinitely small has as much influence but than an extremely huge vibration as a gun. The only difference is that this vibration, which is infinitely small, it takes more time to develop its influence and pervades its environment. But it could be called the domino effect. It is very small vibration would influence a larger one, and this larger one would influence a huge one, and it will happen spontaneously, and it will be done without any efforts. Something which is so important in order to manifest, it has to be done with humility. You have to be humble as far as you do it for yourself. This you wouldn't be your real self, which is your silence, but it would be this vehicle, this mechanism, this car, this red car, which is your mind, which is pretending that it's the driver. The car is driving itself, and it chooses where to go and what to do. What is the place of the driver then? The driver would sleep, and then you would not recognize your own silence. The mental is a mechanism, and it works with repairs. Our thoughts are already not personal, depending on the way that we would connect to some specific body energy points. We would be in tune with some collective thoughts which are running, and those thoughts are made of different columns. Psychological repairs which are used as anchoring in order to let these tool, the mind, this mechanism, be useful and help us to survive, help this physical body to survive. Then many unexpected events could happen. It would be a surprise. Of course, the unexpected is the only certainty. And their surprises, it could be many things. You could be assaulted. It could be an accident. It could be a betrayal. Someone that you thought was loving you suddenly is betraying you and go towards someone else. Or you're on a quiet day and there's a car accident. Or you get fired from your job, which is your repair for your survival. So many things can happen. Or sometimes it could be something quite ordinary that could happen, which is still rebouncing throughout your memory and putting to your face some ancient traumas, surprises and accidents. When those columns, those repairs are blown away by the surprises, those accidents, those events which are occurring and which weren't expected at all, there would be a gap, somehow a void, a breach in this subtle mechanism sophisticated and yet fragile and vulnerable, which is your mind. And this will create a feeling of panic, a threat. This mechanism would turn on the alarm. His physical body is in danger, or allegedly in danger. And as soon as the structures of this mind wouldn't have been united again, and that this missing column, this repair, would have been replaced by another one, this feeling of threat will pervade, perdure, and last. And you will leave with this excruciating, uncomfortable, horrible feeling of anxiety. Sometimes it could last for years, and sometimes it lasts forever. So there's many ways to heal those traumas. One way is to understand what is the subconscious mind. When a trauma occurs, a flow of information suddenly rise and is perceived not any longer by your conscious mind, but by your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind never sleeps. It perceives all the informations 24 hours. It takes everything literally, and it doesn't work with words. It works with symbols. So, one path to heal this trauma could be to discover this realm, this territory, which is the subconscious mind, and opening the doors of what is called the animus. What we call the shadow work is all about that, entering into the shadow zone.